Well, a very good evening to you. It is the 23rd of August 2024 and this is News Tonight. My name is Patricia Lukoma. Mugalu Muhammad is with us on sign language. Straight away into the bulletin, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has called on residents of Butembo district to fully utilize their land to achieve greater economic prosperity. He made the remarks during a rally at a Thanksgiving ceremony for Dr. Monica Musenero, the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, held at Petete Primary School in Butembo District. During his first stop in Oladot Village, Kadesok Parish, Opoteta Sub-County Palisa District, the president officially inaugurated Lukonge Cotton Company Limited, a company dedicated to cassava starch production.
Primary school playgrounds.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was in Butembo District on Thursday, 22nd August 2024. He was attending the Thanksgiving ceremony of the Minister of State in charge of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero. Before heading for the main Thanksgiving ceremony, President Museveni had a guided tour at a cassava starch farm factory at Lodoto and a production facility and learning center at Pedete.
And the main celebrant, Dr. Monica.
He then proceeded to Pedete Primary School grounds, the venue for Honorable Dr. Musenero's Thanksgiving ceremony. Here the president began by inspecting the exhibition stalls, which were mainly of innovators.
There is also Teju.
He then headed for the main Thanksgiving venue. In her address, Minister Musenero thanked President Museveni for choosing her among the many.
All our visitors can see, we are not a community with a lot of abundance in our lives. I, like many, did not grow up with a lot of pathways paved for us with opportunity. I am immensely grateful to God for His grace and mercy, which spared me and from the many childhood illnesses and the dangers that I went through, walking through bushes and not really caring much. This is why today, with a Thanksgiving, we expressed our appreciation to God.
Musenero also poured much appreciation to her compatriots, mainly in the science sector, and to the president.
And your presence here is inspirational. And while I say a personal thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve our country, you are showing all these young people here that circumstances through which we begin, or any tribe that you come from, or any society, it should not define you.
Present at the event was the Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo.
Mwebale okwajira President waisu, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Yalama aigangite President Museveni. Muyongere okwajira NRM. Mbasaba muyongere okwajira waisu, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in 2026.
And then the president was invited to address the nation.
And fish has got a big global market. So if you add cassava, which we are growing very well now, but this time now with irrigation and fertilizer, which means you will get much bigger yields.
In his address, President Museveni discouraged land fragmentation among Bukedi communities.
The problem I see here is land fragmentation. When the head of the family dies, then they fragment the land. Here we don't want to force you, but we are always advising you. that please,
inti banange
when the head of the family goes to heaven,
intonyera maka okibumbo wamweta
don't fragment the property.
Mr. Museveni ended his address by hailing Minister Musonero for her resilience towards serving Uganda and Africa, as well as saluting her contribution in the health and science departments.
I want to thank you
ntakubebalya
for bringing up a good cadre.
mwe ntakubebalya oukulya omwalo musa.
Because I came to know Musenero through the battlefield. There was a big outbreak of a very dangerous disease some years ago, not recently. The other one, the first one.
wabaire obulwaire obwasookere okutumuka obwo bwali obw'Ebola
In Chibale district. People were fearing to go there. Among the people who died were the medical workers. But then a team of very dedicated and well-trained people who went and fought and brought the disease under control.
Reacting to other burning issues in the region, President Museveni committed himself to fast-track them. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Thank you very much there, Robert Onyangona. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is optimistic that the coming China-Africa Summit happening in September this year will be a great forum for Uganda to lobby market for its coffee. This is according to the Wang Guan, a China-based television political host at CGTN, who earlier this year had a one-on-one interview with President Museveni at the State House in Tebe. Museveni has been interviewed as one of the few high-profile African leaders and supporters at the summit.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will join other African heads of state and their delegations in September 2024 in China for the China-Africa Summit.
Yes. The Chinese leaders are all very focused.
Ahead of the summit, the Chinese media channel CGTN is in Africa to profile prominent figures, with Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni taking the lead.
We want to make sure that we come to the continent to find out more about Africa, the Africa that we see, we document, instead of the Africa that is on BBC, CNN, or the New York Times, or Fox News, or Breitbart.
The railway, the electricity. Now, here in Africa, part of the problem is that those aspects have not been addressed. The railway, the electricity has been not emphasized.
Wang Kwen, a political and current affairs journalist at CGTN, interviewed the president at State House.
It doesn't address too much of the specifics, but he talked very strategically and very sincerely about the affinity of the two people, dating back all the way to the 50s, 40s, and 60s, even to the 1910s and 1920s, when we were both on the same boat fighting imperialism and oppression. So make no mistake, his affinity for China was real.
In an exclusive interview with us, Wang Guan shares his views on the benefits Africa can gain from the upcoming summit.
I wouldn't be surprised if three things can happen. Number one, I expect that to be a consolidation of countries in the global south to step up their efforts and consolidate and coordinate their action against an increasingly divisive and divided world, where some countries insist on having blocs, alliances based on ideology and so-called values that they think are superior.
Despite China being one of Africa's leading business and development partners, more efforts are needed to address challenges between the two regions.
So I think China can take criticism where criticism is due. When it comes to underpayment of local laborers, or underemployment or underutilization of laborers, I think China has been heeding those concerns from countries like Zambia, when the copper mining was an issue, or South Africa, when the environmental concerns were raised, or here in Uganda. I think I'll be happy to pass this information back to my think tank friends or to government friends. But on the other hand, I think Chinese are doing a lot of things to change this.
President Kaguta Museveni hopes that the summit will unlock potential in the fields of infrastructure, business and sports.
As to the specifics, of course, he talked about trade. He hoped that there will be more exports from Uganda to China. He introduced coffee. He's a proud, Ugandan in terms of having one of the largest coffee producing countries in the world.
One further reaffirms that China, by meeting and engaging with African leaders, has no ambitions to politically dominate the continent.
I understand the frustration about that, and also there are allegations, innuendos about the Chinese coming here and doing similar things. But I think the allegation that China is a neo-colonialist power is far-fetched. First of all, if just look at the simple fact. Which country outside Greater China area speaks Chinese as a first language? One, Singapore. How many countries outside the UK, as many good British friends as I have, Scottish? 80, according to Wikipedia. Why? Because during the era of expansion, where China is largely a regional power, focusing on developing its own society, improving its own livelihood, lifting 800 million people out of poverty.
The China-Africa Summit is a forum that brings together over 48 African countries under one roof to deliberate on issues ranging from geopolitics and business to security.
China, has, under the Communist Party of China, has been a partner in the anti-imperialist struggle. Now, when they have more capacity, they are working with us to develop equal relationships in trade, and they are doing the right things. As I've told you about the railway, if you build the railway, how can anybody say you are doing something wrong?
For Uganda, the president has delegated the vice president, retired Major Jessica Alupo, to lead Uganda's delegation to the September summit. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
They use both.
Well, thank you very much there, Robert Onyango, once again for such a pre-brief on the upcoming China-Africa summit that is due in September. Now, Uganda's Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has met a delegation from the Russian Defense Ministry that called on him on Thursday afternoon in Entebbe. The high-level meeting held at the Special Forces Command, SFC headquarters in Entebbe, was aimed at imploring ways of enhancing military relations between Uganda and Russia. The meeting was attended by, among others, Lieutenant General James Mujiera, Managing Director of the National Enterprise Corporation NEC, UPDF Business Meanwhile, Defense Public Relations Officer Brigadier General Felix Kulaije has delivered a public lecture to over 200 medical practitioners who are currently having an induction at the National Leadership Institute, NALI, in Chankwanzi. Now, the Director of Communications at Parliament, Chris Obore, has given an overview of the coming parliamentary regional sittings. Obore cites how there is no extra cost to be incurred on the sittings other than what is provided to Parliament in the national budget. Parliament will hold its first regional sittings at Gulu's Kaunda grounds next week.
Parliament sets to hold its regional sittings, with the first scheduled to take place in Gulu City. The Director, Communications at Parliament, Chris Obore, in an interview with UBC, breaks down how the sittings will be held.
Minister for Northern Uganda is going to meet all major stakeholders from Karamoja, West Nile, Lango, and Acholi to collect the issues. Those issues will then be presented to the House, and the House debates them and makes resolutions. That's what they're going to be. In addition to that, there are going to be several committee reports to be presented. There are going to be several motions to be moved. I'm aware even the motion on restocking Northern Uganda is going to be moved.
On Thursday morning, the leader of opposition in an interview cited how this arrangement is another money-wasting venture. Obore, responding to this, says the parliament is spending on the allocated budget.
Each ministry of government presents policy statements to the House during budget time, and money is provided. So is Parliament. So the money provided to Parliament in this financial year does not have an item called regional sittings. Regional sitting is the creativity of Parliament management to say within our allocation we can sit in Gulu, we can sit in Masaka, we can sit in Barara, we can sit in Mbale.
Obore says those criticizing the sittings on allegations of they being a wasteful initiative are only woodwinking the public.
Did these MPs look at the national budget? Those who are criticizing, can they go and check? Because Minister of Finance has a website for the national budget. Why hoodwink the public?
He continues to ascertain that the regional sittings will boost tourism in addition to addressing challenges affecting people in the areas where the sittings will happen.
We are happy that we are going to spend in Gulu. Gulu is part of Uganda. In fact, I'm going to book accommodation there. I am happy for that investor who has a hotel there. If Parliament was not going to sit there, sample may not have reached Gulu.
Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gwitabinji, Parliament.
Well, thank you very much there, Lydia and Gloria. Now, the Anti-Corruption High Court Judge Lawrence Gidudu has set 30th August 2024 date for hearing of the torture application filed by Wusiki Member of Parliament Paul Akamba. He alleges to have been tortured by security operatives during a re-arrest after he was released on bail by the Anti-Corruption Magistrates Court on charges of corruption and abuse of office.
Other grounds.
Boseki constituency Member of Parliament Paul Akamba, after being released on bail by Anti-Corruption Magistrates Court on charges of corruption and abuse of office, he was rearrested by plainclothes men around court premises. The incident that happened on 14th June 2024, Paul Akamba filed an application before Judge Lawrence Gidudu alleging torture by security operatives during rearrest. The case he filed against the Attorney General. Paul Akamba, who appeared from Rosella Government Prison through his lawyer Judy Biamkama, prayed to court to cross-examine the Attorney General's witnesses, whom he alleged that they tortured him during rearrest. These include Major Paul Mukungu, Cheritono Biata, and Viola Tosingire, among others.
About so many claims about him allegedly having been in Chireka, another one saying he was being kept for safe custody, he was not a detainee. My lord, these witnesses need to go on oath before the court and clarify these facts.
The prayers were, however, objected by the Attorney General's office, represented by Geoffrey Madete.
And the right to cross-examine can only be at the discretion of the court. The applicant will have an opportunity to reply in their rejoinder, my lord. We pray that the application for cross-examination be denied. We have no objection.
Judge Lawrence Gidudu, who was praised with the Attorney General's prayers, declined to grant Paul Akamba's prayers.
He was kidnapped in broad daylight from court premises, and the law requires, the Human Rights Enforcement Act requires that when a suspect of an offense has been a subject of violation of his human rights, then that must be brought to the attention of the court. And there are certain consequences which follow if the violations are proved successful.
Court has ordered the applicant Paul Akamba to serve the Attorney General's office with the submissions on 30th October 2024, and the court will resume on 18th September 2024 for hearing of the case. Paul Akamba was further remanded to Rosella Government Prison. Bosek Member of Parliament Paul Akamba, who is facing charges of corruption, abuse of office and conspiracy to defraud government, faces these offences with Bunyole Member of Parliament Yusuf Motembule and Sisa Namujumani Member of Parliament for Rengo District. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansubuga, UBC News.
Minister of State for Northern Uganda, Dr. Kenneth Omona, has held a dialogue with members of parliament from Elgon sub-region to discuss critical issues affecting the area ahead of the parliamentary regional sittings. During the meeting, Omona advised legislators against providing financial aid through brown envelopes and noting that such practices have in some cases exacerbated poverty among the electorate.
Preparations to host parliamentary regional sittings are in full swing at the Ministry of Northern Uganda.
The first one is going to be in the north, which is also my area. I think followed by east, which is also still within my area.
Members of Parliament from Elgon region met with the ministry officials to discuss pertinent issues affecting the region in anticipation of upcoming sessions.
We need to raise some pertinent issues in those areas that can be summarized, that can be summarized to get the leaders in those areas, so that when you get to those areas, those issues should be raised to inform Parliament or to be debated in Parliament, but by and large to inform Parliament of the progress that we have to address those issues. Those that cannot be addressed by Parliament or in those sittings, at least will not be good enough to be carried forward or escalated in government.
During the meeting, the members of Parliament were urged to help government in combating poverty by monitoring government programs in their constituencies.
Have a list of beneficiaries of PDM. Have them. And then when the government is monitoring, look for them. Can you just look at the name that Omona? Omona from which village? Near where? You drive there. Then when they hear that Chairman Sweat comes to your home when you're doing something, everybody's going to do something. Who doesn't want the MP to visit his home? So this is the mobilization the president is talking about. It's not mobilization of yellow, oh yeah, oh yeah.
They were also cautioned against providing financial aid through brown envelopes, noting that such practices have in some cases exacerbated poverty among the electorate.
That money of yours is not enough to change anybody in the consequence, except it will have a negative change on you. That it will deny you your good livelihood as a member of Parliament.
However, the legislators admitted to having committed the vice, but also highlighted challenges affecting their electorate who are striving to overcome poverty.
Our people are naturally very hardworking, but we have issues of water. Rain patterns are not very reliable. So if we can have a special program for water for irrigation, so that we can have water for production, so we can have these short-term crops having it throughout the year, from January to January.
The people who are up on the mountain in Queen or Sweden have land in soil, but they cannot relocate their families because there are no primary schools for the children to study.
My farmers never see the profits of cultivating maize year in, year out. They always remain poor because the maize is being taken by other middlemen who go and, they come and sell it to other areas who offer them better prices.
Minister of State for Northern Uganda, Dr. Kenneth Omona, pledged his full commitment to addressing some of the issues raised by the legislators. Oko Joseph, UBC.
Now, in the area of reclaiming Buganda, the National Resistance Movement, NRM political party, is strategizing to some of its stronghold bases in the central Buganda region. It lost to a new political party that emerged in 2021 presidential polls. Now, the National Unity Platform, NUP, and the NRM Electoral Commission Chairperson Dr. Tanga Udoi say that one of the strategies is to conduct party primaries early. The extent to which this will work is a subject we have sought to analyze.
What exactly went wrong? The national resistance movement did not perform as expected in the central region.
Was the ruling party caught unaware?
Uganda abandoning the NRM started 15 years ago.
What signal did this send?
Because you could see it was coming.
Was it really a political wave or a sign of tribalism?
And I used to warn Babas about this possibility.
Too many questions and less answers as the national resistance movement seeks to politically repossess Buganda and by extension Central Uganda in the forthcoming elections. At the end of the 2021 elections in Uganda, a new catchphrase emerged in the country's leadership landscape: political wave. Numerous leaders from the ruling national resistance movement lost their positions to the opposition National Unity Platform Party. Some were members of parliament.
Because you could see it was coming, that the way we are handling the central region and other areas, we are going to end up in this problem. You know, in Uganda, there are errors we made, which have resulted in what has happened.
More than 3 years later, the question of what went wrong for NRM in central Uganda still lingers on.
Because at one time she was quarreling with Kasere Mumba. I had to be a mediator and say, please stop. And I was not paid mediation fees.
It is not clear what quarrel ensued then between Jessica Alupo and Justin Kasule Lumumba that the president had to mediate. His revelation could point to a claim of mismanagement of NRM party primaries, as asserted by some members who lost in Buganda.
It is true there was a wave, but the big problem was the primaries of NRM and the intrigue within NRM. The primaries of NRM and the intrigue within NRM, that's why we lost Buganda. Primaries became a situation that everybody, even non-members, were voting. So that's how it went.
To avoid similar occurrences, the call for abolishment of NRM party primaries has been amplified.
Primaries of NRM should be revised, if not abolished, for that matter, so that everything is clear. Because it has been the center of confusion. It has been the center of confusion whereby the NRM registers are not updated, and then you can come to a stage that let everybody vote because there's nothing to do. So to make anything better is to avoid them.
NRM is a mass party with a constitution, and there are provisions on how the constitution may be modified. But then those who want the primaries to be removed, they should also recommend on what other method would they want NRM to rely on to determine who the candidates would be.
However, a strategy to have the region successfully reclaimed politically has been figured out.
Our flag bearer will win with over 10 million votes. So why haven't we been doing that? Because we hold elections late. You find structural elections are held late together with other elections. And we have a lot of mix-up. So as a party electoral commission, we are telling the country, we are telling our supporters to wait. And we are telling our leaders, let's sort out this election in a phased manner. Let's have the structure election so that the party has new structures, energize the structures to start mobilization.
The success of this will also require laying bare the truth above what Dr. Tango Doi describes as lies by the opposition.
Alternative governments must have alternative manifestos. But the only manifesto the opposition and NUP has, Museveni must go. Now, if that is your manifesto, that Museveni must go, and you are thinking that you are posturing today and tomorrow, you lead people into demonstration, you go to the market areas downtown and destroy people's things, those people are not foolish. They will rise against you and vote you out. So if they think they will kill us and vote massively to win us in Buganda, wait for 2026.
In doing so, Buganda and by extension Central Region will be reclaimed by the NRM party.
And we are not going to give space to people to deceive the people. That's why we must do our internal elections early. We have our robust new system. We have new members who should mobilize Buganda. Buganda cannot be mobilized by Secretariat alone. Director mobilization cannot go to every part of Buganda. That's why she needs a very strong system. The Secretary General, who is the overall mobilizer at the Secretariat, cannot go to every village. That's why it needs a robust new structure to mobilize. And I can tell you Buganda and Busoga will not be taken by NUP like they did it in a wave.
All this assurance is coming at a time the National Electoral Commission has released a roadmap for the 2026 general elections. Presidential and parliamentary elections will be held on the 12th of January 2026. Henry Okrut, UBC.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondolo. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
So drag their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior the skin, no more worries anymore. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Sometimes, the pressure of paying taxes can feel overwhelming. The temptation to cut corners and underdeclare your income may creep in. But before you make that choice, consider the cost. Underdeclaring taxes might seem like an easy way out, but the consequences can be severe. URA offers resources and payment plans to help you manage your taxes. You can pay in installments if it's difficult to pay in full. Transparency is key. Avoid penalties and unexpected liabilities by reporting everything accurately. To report corruption, call URA on our toll-free lines. Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us, hands that prepare soil for farming, hands that we use to learn, and hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF. Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to invest in agribusiness, manufacturing, tourism, infrastructure, health and education to improve the quality of life of Ugandans. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank.
We can do better.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
Welcome back from that short break. It's time for us to delve into the world of business, starting off with ICT, where the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance has inaugurated a project steering committee to oversee a new virtual reality lab initiative. While inaugurating the committee, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of ICT, Amina Zawede, highlighted the project as something that will play a crucial role in enhancing education, particularly in the fields of science, technology and engineering.
The steering committee that has been inaugurated Friday by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, Amina Zawede, will conduct a strategic oversight in giving direction to this lab.
This project, we are embracing emerging technologies. The world has moved on. When you go to the developed world, all these technologies have been embraced already, but we don't want as a country to be left behind.
The Ministry of ICT and National Guidance is coming up with technology where people will engage in virtual reality with the aim of embracing technology and also helping students to walk through experiments.
What does that help us or benefit us? How does this benefit us? For any medical students to study, to go through a surgery process, it requires that they have to work on a human being. They have to have all the tools that you require, injections, all the medication to be able to treat this patient or walk through that experience. But this also comes with risks. If a student is still maybe learning, you might lose a patient, or the patients might not be available for you to walk through the experience. So such environments help us to teach students to do so many things.
She also disclosed that the focus is mainly on science, technology, engineering, mathematics and innovations.
We look at the area of innovation. Anybody can do innovation. We see the 3D printers where people will go and mold. It can be a designer molding, how a shoe will look like, or how a bag will look like, or how a watch will look like. It doesn't have to be a scientist. So these people will come up with the models and then hand them over to the science people who will manufacture and reproduce these products. So
the committee members shed more light on some of the key areas they will focus on.
I put out. We're also looking at fully operationalizing the lab towards the end of 2024, and this will be a physical space which can be accessed, and people access the tools there and infrastructure, but also people are able now to access virtually. They don't need to be in the physical space.
I am Maria Dana Namiro and Kenneth Tanawa for UBC News.
Now, a little bit to do with the Myoga resident district commissioner of Gomba, Harriet Nakamia, has applauded government for a Myoga initiative which is empowering communities through livelihood enterprises. She noted that cheap politics has been a major obstacle to the success of Myoga circles in the central Uganda, urging that politics be kept separate from this vital program.
In Kamwenge district, agriculture has long been the lifeline of many residents. However, unpredictable weather and prolonged dry seasons have made farming difficult and less profitable. Farmers like Milton Musherure, a father of 7 from Mutwesel village, received 1 million shillings from the Myoga Fund. He ventured into poultry, which has now become the engine of his household income.
Because poultry needs small land. Poultry needs you can start locally. In 2 months, I get profit like 3 million, 2 million to 3 million. And I have bought a bull.
At Chibale East Market vendors Emyoga Sacco in Nkoma Town Council, many single mothers and housewives secured capital. They now run successful businesses like grocery stores.
It has helped them so much because the women can pay their school fees, can rent their houses, they can do many things. I sell cabbage, watermelon, I've got profit from them.
Amagoba genzi jamu ka business kenkola nganfunawo ka product kentandiko okukola banendo ndobo koko.
These stories, among others, showcase the resilience and innovation in Kamwenge district. Visiting Emyoga beneficiaries from central districts share their experiences.
I've learned about what we call resource mobilization.
We are going to teach them how they are going to save.
I've learned about record keeping. We are going to put everything we've learned in place.
Harriet Nakamia, the resident district commissioner of Gomba and leader of the visiting delegation, was impressed by the progress in the West. She urged communities to keep politics out of the Myoga program.
In Central, everything there is cheap politics. In Central, what fails are teamwork and transparency. And which is here. Here people are committed, there is teamwork and there is transparency.
Mase Kushemerera, manager of Usaiga Sacco in Harugongo sub-county, Kabarole district, emphasized the need for honesty and good governance for Emyoga's success.
The challenges rise from poor governance. So the moment the heart of the governance body is right, the Sacco will go right.
The residents of Kamwenge have shown remarkable resilience and resourcefulness.
Myoga money, it is good for us. As how? There is no something for something. You must sweat for something.
Through determination, community support, and the opportunities provided by Myoga program, they have improved their livelihoods and created a brighter future for their families and communities. Mary Namkose, Robert Boita, UBC News.
Thank you, Mary and Brighter. Now moving on, leaders hailing from disaster-prone areas in eastern Uganda have been tasked to mitigate and respond to disasters in times of emergencies. The remarks were made by religious and disaster management leaders in Tororo at a launch of the Advancing Local Leadership in the Right Way codename All Right project by the Catholic Relief Services for Capacity Building at Tororo Archdiocese in Tororo. Ivan Juko has more.
Over the past decades, thousands of families living at the footsteps of Mountain Elgon in the districts of eastern Uganda have lost dear ones to catastrophic landslides and flooding due to unpredictable changes in climate. In response to such emergencies, Catholic Relief Services, an NGO funded by the U.S. Vision 2030 agency, in partnership with the Caritas, have launched the Advancing Local Leadership in the Right Way project to mitigate some of the challenges. The project is to focus on climate adaptations, especially in the districts of Bududa, Manafwa, Butaleja, Chibuku, among others in eastern Uganda that are prone to disasters.
As we know, in eastern Uganda, every year the area suffers from landslides and floods. When the rains come, household members, families are displaced, their homes are destroyed, and their livelihoods are often washed away as well. So by working with Caritas Tororo to increase and enhance their overall capabilities,
the acting country representative of Catholic Relief Services, Hale Laney, says they are committed to have children get basic needs of life.
we strive to ensure that individuals live in peaceful societies, and that all children have access to healthcare, education, families have access to livelihoods opportunities.
Localization of leadership is one of the components Catholic Relief Services is to address, with the agenda of guiding communities on how to run and manage society.
Work directly with Caritas Tororo to develop their skills and capacities such that Caritas Tororo is an effective and distinguished leader in emergency response.
Some of the strategic areas like local leadership development, that is an area that will complement on our efforts in enhancing on the efforts of our local leadership to address issues of disaster management, given the fact that there will be a lot of skills enhancement.
Tororo Archdiocese Caritas is optimistic that the project will ably strengthen the well-being of communities within the eastern districts of Uganda.
The church, we are all called upon to respond to people in need. Of course, Caritas means charity. And charity is an evangelical virtue for every baptized person, that in case there is a need, you must serve your God and also the neighbor. The All Right project is about strengthening the capacity of Caritas, measuring in emergency areas. Because Tororo is covering those two areas, Mountain Elgon and then down in Butaleja.
While the project is expected to respond to emergencies in high-risk places of frequent occurrence, Herbert Himigu, the chairperson of Butaleja District Disaster Management Committee, called on the local leadership to tighten their grip on mitigation and awareness among communities.
Climate change has really impacted on our livelihoods. I can give an example. In Butaleja, we live in a kind of topography which is more of low land, and a number of rivers land into Butaleja, and that comes with now the floods once it starts raining. Of the efforts that our implementing partners have to consolidate themselves on is to continue mobilizing the communities, because it is not a one person's show. We must work as a team.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Uganda fire! Endiva fire! Our border fire!
Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! Has Nambole Stadium opened its doors once again? While you were moving in, you were the 12th player when Uganda Cranes needed you the most. Through our famous wins against Tubakunda and our unlucky losses, you stood firm, supporting even louder. Now, as Uganda Cranes take on South Africa and Congo this September, South Sudan in October, and play our second legs against South Africa and Congo in November, bring even more fire! Because with your support, Uganda Cranes is unstoppable! Uganda fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda Cranes. Together, we are unstoppable.
Royal Challenge presents African Culture Show 2024. From 5th to 7th September, African countries will showcase their cultural lifestyles of food, dances, poetry, clothing, and we shall also have live African traditional performances. We shall be at Kololo Independence Grounds starting at 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at only 50,000 shillings. Dressing code is African culture wear. Come see countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Libya, plus visiting countries like Brazil, India, China, and many more, showcasing their traditional cultural lifestyle.
The East Africa UK Tourism and Culture Expo 2024 is here, happening on 8th and 9th of November 2024 under the theme Enhancing Tourism as Engine for Social and Economic Transformation on the sidelines of WTM London at the Rembrandt Hotel, 11th Thurlow, PI South Kensington, London, SW7 2RS, United Kingdom. For tickets, exhibitors will pay £1,000 and participants will pay £300. For more information, call +256 787 096 100 or +254 795 806 969. Visit www.eaukTourismExpo.com to register.
Welcome back from that short break. Now straight away into sports. Uganda's State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, has assured the world of safety while in Kasese for this weekend's Taskalite Mount Rwenzori Marathon. Let's hear more from Grace.
Kasese is a beehive of activity as it prepares to host the third edition of the Taskalite Mount Rwenzori Marathon this Saturday. According to the State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, visitors from the United Kingdom, Kenya and other parts of the world have started arriving.
Guests have started arriving, runners have also started arriving, who have just received the Kenyan team, and we are receiving some team from the UK this evening, and other teams are also coming. But the Ugandan runners are already here.
The minister assured the general public that security towards the success of the marathon has been enhanced through different security agencies.
I would also like to assure all participants and all those who will come to cheer the runners and all those who will come to enjoy Kasese that security is tight. We have put enough measures to ensure everybody is secure.
Kasese municipality leadership have commended the sponsors Taskalite for this initiative that is boosting economic transformation among the business people.
There's no hotel that is not occupied in the Kasese town. All hotels have been booked to capacity. And what this one means, it is translated into the economy that has come in Kasese municipality. One, the night economy, the road economy, and of course owners of lodges and hotels will have some new money coming in.
Uganda Breweries Limited project manager Patience Aguti says that over 3,000 runners have confirmed their participation in this year's Taskalite Rwenzori Marathon.
Over 32 countries have confirmed. Some of them have already, participants have already touched down. Some are still on their way. But you guys don't want to miss the third edition of the Taskalite Mount Rwenzori Marathon.
The Taskalite Rwenzori Marathon has been characterized with pre-activities including cleaning of Kasese town and a pre-event bicycle ride from Kampala.
Today we have just received the cyclists who left Kampala on Tuesday. They have just arrived now. They have completed the race of 370 kilometers. We have just received them in Kasese town. That is the opening event of the main Taskalite Rwenzori Marathon.
One of the pre-marathon activities we have had has been cleaning Kasese municipality, making the town clean, making the town free from plastics, so that the guests who are coming in and people within feel they are in a very clean environment.
This Taskalite Rwenzori Marathon is unique by Ugandan standards for being the only one certified by World Athletics. What this means is that it can qualify runners to major global events.
The marathon has been registered globally. That means it is certified with the World Athletic Federation, and that is something for us to be proud about and to brag about. And that's the kind of marathon you do not want to miss.
It will be run over 5, 10, 21 and 42 kilometers.
Well, in our next story, and probably the last one, the Federation of East African School Sports Association Games have entered day 6 with athletics being the center of attraction. Let's hear more from John Barnes Centum.
The Federation of East Africa School Sports Association Games have this Friday witnessed action in athletics that has been bossed by Kenya. The Kenyans scooped 8 gold, silver and bronze medals for a total collection of 24, while Uganda got 3 gold, 5 silver and 4 bronze medals, with Tanzania and Rwanda winning none. Uganda also excelled in the girls category with success in the relay for both secondary and primary levels. In girls volleyball, Bukedia Comprehensive beat Nabisonsa 3-0 to make its maiden semi-final and was joined by St. Elizabeth that beat Kenya's Lugulu, while the Bukedia Comprehensive boys also made it through with a game to spare.
Bukedia Comprehensive School, we have just concluded our last group game in volleyball girls category, where we have defeated Nabisonsa girls 3 sets to 0. That sends us into the semi-finals of this tournament, and that is already a medal bracket. Anything can happen. We have hopes that we are going to win our semi-final game between us and the leader of the Group A, and that may take us into finals, and the trophy might remain here in Bukedia. On the boys' side, although we still have a game in hand to play, we have also qualified for semi-finals, and our boys are in good shape. We promise Ugandans that the trophy for the boys shall remain home.
In girls handball, Kibuli beat Tanzania's Njombe 27-24 to qualify to the semis, while in the boys category, Mbogo Mixed beat Ndare School 30-20, and national champions Wampia Wontake beat Kenya's Seniac 27-24 to also make it to the semis. In 3x3 girls basketball, St. Noah made it to the semis after beating Kenya's Royal Education 19-5, while St. Mary's Kitende lost 17-5 to Kenya's St. Joseph Kitale, but still have a chance to qualify. In boys 5-a-side basketball, hosts Amos College snatched a 75-74 win over Rwanda's Gasogi in a game that ran high on emotions. In netball, it will be an all-Ugandan semi-final affair, with the last 4 having St. Mary's Kitende and St. Noah from Group A, while Kawanda and Buddo topped Group B. In boys football, defending champions Kitende beat Tanzania's Benjamin Mkapa 4-0 to make it to the semis, and will be joined by hosts Amos College, who beat national champions St. Julian 1-0, while hosts Bukedia Comprehensive have a must-win game against Hospital Hill of Kenya tomorrow to make it through.
And that's it from us. Thank you once again for allowing us into your space. My name is Patricia Lukoma. Mpango Mugalu Mohammed has been with us on sign language. Let's meet again at 10 o'clock.
And this